Hello and welcome to another update video about Terra Luna. Terra now at 90. I told you when we were at the all-time high level here that we were going to come down now because we were again overbought. What we did here, I'm still of the view, the longer term view, that we have to come into this blue target area to complete a correction. Yeah, we haven't done that yet. We're still far away from that, but that is not a problem. This is still from where we are now. I am not convinced that we can get to sustainable all-time highs. It can't. We are just overbought on the higher time frames, or we are close to being overbought. Yeah, on the daily here, you can see that Terra Luna is now at 60 of the RSI. That is not considered overbought, but it is very high compared to other cryptos. Here on the 4-day chart as well, around 60. And again, it doesn't mean that we can't go higher, but it means that you get exhausted quickly. On the weekly chart here as well, around 60. So for me, Terra is just much more expensive than other cryptos at the moment, which doesn't mean that you couldn't make short-term profits. Absolutely not, because we are in a short-term uptrend. We did say that as long as you are in this short-term uptrend, of course, you can make profits. I told you that when we were coming down here in this descending wedge, that this would be, if you see a breakout, a retest, and the volume confirmed breakout out of that descending wedge, then you can go higher. You can go all the way up to, well, the price target for that descending wedge was $97. That is typically the price target of a wedge. The conservative one is the beginning of the wedge. Now it did go a little bit higher, and congratulations for everybody who did go in when we broke out here. That is just a sign that you can make money even though you are close to being overbought, absolutely. And even though I still see that correction coming, but as long as you are in this short-term uptrend, of course, you are in an uptrend, prices can go higher. There is, however, a risk now that you are really rolling over, and we're going to get into that in a minute. If we zoom out here to the 1 hour chart, you can also see this other descending wedge that we talked about. So again, that was another bull flag here. And it did the breakout, retested, and then moved to the beginning of the wedge. So again, that worked out. But since then, we have been coming down. And I think we could get a pullback to that ascending trend line here. That would be at around $84. And typically, when you get a pullback to these trend lines, you can argue that this is typically it is a potential buying opportunity, not necessarily a good one. It depends on your own strategy. But when you get a pullback to a trend line, this is a potential trade entry, yeah, because then in an uptrend, if that support holds, it is likely that the price will push away from that ascending trend line again. What makes me a little bit concerned here about Terra Luna is that we had a few bearish signs. So if we take a look on the 4-hour chart, you can see it more clearly. You see that bearish divergence occurring. So that normally happens when you are moving higher, but the distance from high to high gets lower. So this recent high here, you can see, it just means you have less momentum coming in. So the RSI, which is a momentum indicator, where we were here at 79, yeah, then you moved higher all the way here to $94 or $96, yeah, and you see the RSI peaked lower, and then you moved all the way up, made a new all-time high, $105. And even here you made, was it actually a higher high? Was it the all-time high? I think it was the all-time high, yeah. But again, you peaked lower on the RSI. So this is a bearish divergence, and typically not good, because it just gives you the view and the idea that the momentum is decreasing. Okay, so that is just something to be aware of. And let's take a look at where we actually are in terms of the EMAs, the EMA ribbon. Well, this is where it's currently getting interesting, because the Terra Luna is currently trying to find support here on these EMAs. Yeah, you can see that. This is the 4-hour chart. The EMA ribbon is finding support on the lowest EMA currently. So that is support level here. Try to push higher. Can't really get higher for now. Stuck at $90 at the moment. And you could even see this. I mean, if I take those previous lines out, you could even see this as another bullish, we could call it the bull flag, bullish pennant, whatever. And again, depending on how you draw it, you could argue that is another bull flag. Yeah, another descending wedge. And again here, that is a similar story to what we had here in that descending wedge. When you broke out to the upside, again, the target would then be the beginning of the wedge. So again, we have the same story here. When you break out of this descending wedge, and that would be, if that happened today, that would be around $95, $96. With the retest and the volume confirmation, the immediate target would be $104. Yeah, that peak that we made here in the last couple of days. So that is not massive, but it is only the first target. And if you break that, then of course, then we are in all-time high territory. And then we could see, if Terra Luna does a run, we could see an interesting price move. Yeah, and if we take a look at where the price could then be heading, if we take a look at that general formation here, then we've got the 1.618 fib extension, which is a very, very relevant one at $143. So the first one would actually be here. The first main level in the price discovery would be $122, and the next one then $143. These are levels that I think could be reached. Also, I think the indicators would support that, but to do that, first of all, we need to see that successful breakout out of this bullish flag, and we need to break above this all-time high level. Yeah, until you don't, if you don't break above the all-time high, then you won't be able to get sustainable moves to the upside. Yeah, and this is a critical level, and you can see the price is struggling to push higher. That is not it is not a bullish sign. I tell you that it's not a bullish sign. Generally, when a cryptocurrency is really in a bull run, it doesn't have that many difficulties to push to new all-time highs. When we had the all-time high, but that was back here end of December. Now we've tried it again, failed here, then came down, tried again, yeah, slightly higher high, but Terra Luna is struggling in the current environment, because you need to consider the current environment. The whole crypto market is still in a correction. You get these cryptos that are trending from time to time. That's fine. You can make money in this if you want to, but it is also more risky than buying low and selling high, you know, and that is what you can do with most cryptos at the moment, because most cryptos are really low in terms of their indicators. They are oversold, whereas Terra Luna isn't. Yeah. But I want to just emphasize that it is a great project in my view. Yeah, we talked about it in the live stream. We talked about it already in other videos. We looked at the fundamentals and the smaller projects on the Terra Luna blockchain. Nevertheless, you can, even if we have a difficult environment, you can make money, and that would be a next interesting trade here if that breakout occurs. But of course, as always, you don't know if this bull flag is going to break to the upside. Therefore, traders usually wait until a breakout happens and possibly a retest. Not everybody is waiting for a retest because a retest doesn't always happen. Sometimes the price just goes up straight away, and anybody whose strategy is to wait for a retest then loses out. I generally do wait for a retest if I enter a short-term trade, but that's an interesting one. Could happen in the next few days, could really happen at any time, that breakout. Well, it would need to take place, I think, in the next sort of 24 hours. Otherwise you get very or too close to that trend line, or even break it. That would be, of course, the alternative. But as I said, a little bit concerning that we have here this bearish divergence on the chart. This doesn't, again, mean that you can't make money, because you are still in an uptrend. As long as you are in an uptrend, that's fine. I think when you lose that trend line here, this ascending trend line, then you can fall quite fast, yeah, because then the correction is kicking in that I am waiting for, actually. So that's my view here on Terra Luna. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.